There are two ways of thinking about this. What might be done to deter the potential invasion by Russia, and then there's how might the U.S. respond to an actual invasion by Russia. Actually, in both categories, the focus is still on diplomacy and economic and financial sanctions. But there is a military element to this. And at the moment, in terms of trying to persuade President Putin not to move into Ukraine, the main military focus has been on providing Ukraine with defensive weaponry and other means to defend itself. And since 2014, the United States has provided over $2.5 billion worth of defense support for Ukraine. It's good to keep in mind that even with that assistance, the Russian army is vastly superior to the Ukrainian army, and not to mention the fact that there's probably an even more acute difference when it comes to air power and naval power. The Russians are far superior. If there is a Russian invasion, there could be an organized Ukrainian resistance, and the Biden administration has not said publicly and explicitly that they would help, but that is one thing that could be done. But under any circumstance, it would not be expected that U.S. troops would become involved, except to the extent that if there is support for a resistance or an insurgency, one could imagine that U.S. troops would be transporting material to Ukraine. There's always a possibility of somehow getting drawn in, but that would not be the intention. One response that President Biden mentioned was the U.S. might feel obliged to send or in some way reinforce the defenses of other NATO countries on the Eastern Front, like in the Baltics or perhaps Poland. And that likely would happen only in the event that Russia did actually invade Ukraine.